More at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
Hi, my name's Neil. I have some advice for you if you've been trying to break free from credit card debt. You can start by doing what I did. Get your bills together and call Trinity Debt Management. Trinity is dedicated to helping people like me become debt-free. When I called, my first experience was a feeling of relief. My counselor was kind, and best of all, she didn't judge me. In just a few minutes, she helped me figure out a plan that consolidated all my bills into one lower monthly payment. This substantially reduced my high interest rates and put me on the road to success. In the end, I saved thousands in interest, and today, my credit card debt is a thing of the past.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Neil. Take it from someone who's been there. Call Trinity and become debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
Stocks edged higher ahead of a closely watched earnings report from NVIDIA. The S&P 500 rose 0.2%, beating the all-time high it set 2 weeks ago. The Nasdaq Composite rose 0.2%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average gaining 0.3%. Investors see NVIDIA's quarterly report as a barometer for the strength of the boom in artificial intelligence because that company makes most of the chips that power the technology. Cracker Barrel climbed 8%. That's after scrapping plans to change its logo following an uproar on social media that even drew a comment from President Trump. The Dow up 147 points today to close at 45,565. The Nasdaq gained 45 to 21,590. The S&P added 15 to 6481. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll have clouds rolling in this evening and throughout the night. The low temperature dipping down to 62. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy for us. We'll have a high temperature of 84, and rain chances will increase on Friday. Meanwhile, the weekend gives us high temperatures in the low 80s. We'll have a 30 to 40% chance for rain both Saturday and Sunday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
Well, good to be back with you on Sports Talk on this Wednesday night, which is actually another version of Talking Tuesday, because in Gamecock land, this is a Tuesday. This is Tuesday with the Gamecock football team because they play on Sunday. Thus, this is a Tuesday. Thus, this is a redo of Talking Tuesday. We had the original Talking Tuesday yesterday for Clemson. Today, it's a Talking Tuesday on a Wednesday for South Carolina. Plus, Tim Beck talked with the media today as well. So a lot of people are talking, including us, here on Sports Talk. Phil Kornblut back in the studio for the first time since, do you remember, Plummer, the last time I was in the studio? How long's that been? It's been like the first part of August.
It's been since like the end of July.
End of July. How do I look?
As you walked into the studio, I said, have you lost a few hair follicles?
Pounds?
Hair follicles? And I think it's true. I could pull it up. I think you have. Definitely lost a few hair follicles.
Josh has clearly gotten way too comfortable being in the studio by himself, Phil. So he feels confident now.
Well, I know what else he's comfortable about. His eyes look a little bloodshot. Hey, what you been doing, freshman boy, over at South Carolina? Have you been studying, or
It's a Wednesday, Bergie.
Are you partying?
Yes, no, I meant the Tuesday night though.
Oh.
What are you doing? Are you partying too much? What are you doing?
I'm not. No.
Some people around you? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not saying it.
Freshman. Hey, it's time for the freshman question of the day.
I will answer.
How long will it be before you change roommates?
Possibly within the next week.
Your choice or his?
Hopefully mine.
Wow.
All right. Very good. Well, listen. You can't get arrested for secondhand smoke, can you? That doesn't, if they pull you over, that's not your fault.
I've already reported it, because I really hope my professors don't think of me differently when I show up to class smelling like weed.
Are you on
I smell like marijuana? That's my question.
Are you buzzing right now? I mean, you got this smile. He's got this goofy smile.
Do I smell like marijuana? That's the question.
I'm just going by the goofy smile.
I'm asking. I mean,
and your eyes look a little heavy.
I think it's time to get Jim Corbett on the phone.
Yeah, really. Do you need representation?
No pun intended.
I did drive here. That might be an issue.
Yeah. All right. Good to have you with us on this Wednesday/Talking Tuesday. We'll hear from Shane Beamer as he met with the media today over at South Carolina. Matt Smith, Smitty, on the scene covering for us this afternoon. I had an out-of-town engagement, and so Smitty.
The other guys.
Yeah.
That's what Coach Beamer calls Josh, Smitty, and myself.
The other guys.
Up.
Yeah,
the other guys.
Yeah,
you get the Phil treatment, and then when we show up, it's Phil sent the other guys.
Well, no, with me, it's that guy, that guy, and you guys are the other guys.
The other guys.
But he talked about, of course, having Faison ready to go was big, and no Robertson, no Travian Robertson because of the injury. Pretty severe stuff with him. And the fact that he is not going to be with them this week, and who knows when he'll be able to return. But they do have people ready to go to fill in because assistant coaches have assistants who work directly under them and work with the players as well. So I'm sure that'll be a pretty smooth transition. Not saying that Coach Robertson won't be missed. He will be because of his presence on the team. But they do have people ready to step in to work that job in his absence. So a lot of respect for Virginia Tech from Shane Beamer, of course. A lot of respect for the quarterback. Virginia Tech took a lot of transfers to help fill out some areas of weakness. They've got new coordinators who were not college guys last year, so they got new coordinators coming in. So he, of course, gives Virginia Tech full respect, and he should, even though this South Carolina team's favored by 14.5, and we all think they're going to win and win handily. It might not be that easy, Bergie. It might be a down-to-the-wire fourth-quarter kind of game. They'd better be prepared for that.
I think it's going to be, Phil, because I don't know what in the past couple of years would give Gamecock fans the belief that they're going to blow Virginia Tech out in their opener. They just don't play that well normally under Shane Beamer. I mean, you take the Eastern Illinois game out of the mix a couple of years ago, but I mean, last year, Old Dominion had a chance down to the wire and narrowly lost. You go back. Gosh, they lost to North Carolina in the season opener a couple of years ago. So I mean, this is not a team that just walks out, shows up, and plays well in the opener. That's got to start to change for them to have the kind of special season that they want to have. I still think they win, but I think it may be a lot closer than that 2-touchdown margin would indicate.
Well, I've got them 42-21, so I'm
disagree.
I'm drinking the garnet covered Kool-Aid here on South Carolina for this one, and I could be right on. Or I could be totally off. It's a guessing game until you see these teams play.
Oh, yeah.
I could be totally wrong on Clemson and LSU. I mean, I don't usually make a prophecy thinking I'm wrong. When I prophesize, I usually feel like I'm going to be right. So picking LSU to win that game 27-24, I could be totally wrong. Clemson could win that thing by a touchdown or a field goal or 3 touchdowns. But I think that's going to be a close one that will go either way. So I'm looking for that one to be a really close ball game. I'm looking for South Carolina to go in and handle business. I just think that has nothing to do with my prophecy. So anyway, I think that South Carolina is just better overall than Virginia Tech. I think better quarterback, better running backs, better receiving core. I think better on the line of scrimmage. Just a better overall team. One question mark would be the kicking game. Beamer said today that he'd like to see the kicking game be a little better than it was in practice this morning. I guess it was this morning, or maybe it was yesterday in practice. So maybe that's still a little bit of a concern going into Sunday afternoon, but we'll see how big a role that plays. Our phone number is 888-898-2525 if you'd like to join in. 888-898-2525. You can also hit us up with a text message or two, and that number is 803-900-4847, 803-900-4847. Feel free to send us a text message if it's an interesting and well-written text message. We'll share that on the air. Coming up tonight, like I said, we'll hear from Shane Beamer, among other people. Tonight, the return of coaches Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson as we begin another season of Chalk Talk here on Sports Talk. Perhaps the most popular segment of all segments on Sports Talk. All our segments are popular, but this one's very popular. Two veteran football coaches who still have a knack for knowing what's right in the world of college football and a feel for what's going on with the respective teams. So we'll hear from them coming up at 7:05. Plus, we'll catch up on a couple of things. We'll have some recruiting. The interview I did this week with Chase Briscoe leading into Darlington. In fact, we'll be at Darlington tomorrow night doing Sports Talk, and driver Cole Custer will be our special guest at 7:05. So looking forward to having him with us. We'll be parked right outside the museum at the racetrack. So if you happen to be wandering around, you'll see us over there with our big sign. Come by and say hello to Bergie, and you can wave to me if you want to.
The Car Hauler Parade is tomorrow evening, too, and it will be going on as we're doing the show, which is always a big attraction here in the PD. So that's a lot of fun to see the big rigs who take the cars from Charlotte and drive them down here, and they'll be leaving from Florence Darlington Tech, I think it is, and then drive over to the track. And they'll be part of the reason Cole Custer is going to visit with us. He is the grand marshal of that parade. So he's going to buzz in, hang out with us for a little bit, and then buzz back over to downtown Darlington, where they've got a big race fest going on tomorrow night. So big night over in Darlington.
Awesome. All right, let's catch you up on some things. Phone number 888-898-2525. First of all, last night, Clemson scores the first point of the Palmetto Series for this year with a 4-1 win over South Carolina in men's soccer. They led 1-0 at halftime, and they had 3 goals in the second half, so they pulled away. Clemson's men's soccer is still just too strong for South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
I think South Carolina's an improved team, but they're not there yet.
If you're the Gamecocks, Phil, what you cannot do when you're facing a team as talented, that's much more talented than you are, and Clemson's got a chance to go deep in the NCAA tournament, as they often do. You can't have your goalkeeper just haphazardly kick the ball out in front of the goal and have an easy goal in. Clemson was up 1-0, went up 2-0, and then the Gamecocks cut it to 2-1, and then Clemson scored 2 goals late. But the backbreaker, I think, was the really lousy clear, to use a soccer term. How about that?
How about
the
that?
really lousy clear by USC's goalkeeper that allowed Clemson to go up by 2. And
You're in
the Gamecocks weren't coming back from that.
You're in what I call World Cup form right now. You're in World Cup form.
I can fake it with the best of them. My wife is a former soccer player, so I've learned just enough terminology to be dangerous.
All right. South Carolina AD, Jeremiah Donati, updated everybody on the work at the stadium at Williams-Brice, the expansion and the improvements they're going to be making now that they've got the complete approval of the state legislature and they've got the $350 million to move forward after this season. So among the things he said on the upgrades, a lot that needs to be fixed for student and fan experience, a lot of inefficiencies with regard to concessions and restrooms. They're going to solve that. The locker rooms at the stadium are under development, and they want the players and recruits to see their best. It's a big focal point of the project. No seats will be affected for 25 and 26. A lot of what will be happening initially is in the guts of the stadium for minimal disruption to the fans. He said they want to improve the congestion in the stadium and restrooms. Also, they want to attract events like concerts, and for that they need to improve access to the field and premium seating. Look out, press box. And he reiterates that no William Bryce seats will be displaced in the next 2 seasons. And the original plans to develop areas near the CLA. More news to come regarding improvements to areas elsewhere in Columbia. Can't talk about it now. Says they're working on that quietly and are excited about it. So this one statement here about premium seatings or premium seats, I mean, he could be talking about stuff down low at field level, or like every athletic director of this era that I've ever run across, they look at that big, wide, beautiful press box where the media sits, and they go to themselves, why do we give these people free seats in prime seating like this when I can turn these into millions of dollars in luxury suites? You don't think that thought's crossed his mind? You don't think that thought's crossed his mind?
It would literally be a sky box, because I haven't been to every SEC stadium. Clemson's access is a lot closer to the field. I don't know many stadiums that will put you in the press box from our perspective, Phil, as media, any higher than USC does off the field.
Well, maybe the saving grace for the media might be that the view is so bad that they couldn't sell it.
That's a good point.
It's too high. Maybe it is too high. I mean, with really strong binoculars, you can still see what's going on. I have very strong binoculars.
I'm going to need to borrow those in late November, if you don't mind.
That's right, because you'll be calling the Coastal Carolina South Carolina game at that time. But they've done that at Coastal Carolina. They've taken the media area at your facility, the main media area, and they're converting that into suites, and they're moving the media to the end zone, are they not?
That's correct. The print media that comes, and also electronic media that's not radio, thankfully.
Mm-hmm. All right. So
we still have our primo seats right on the midfield stripe almost.
Well, I say that could very well happen in South Carolina, but we shall see. Clemson announces a sellout for LSU, 81,500.
Well, gosh, I would hope so.
Yeah. Fox and YouTube TV have agreed to a short-term extension while they work through a new agreement. How about Dawn Staley? You know, we were one of the few to talk about this story when it first came out, being reported in New York, that the Knicks had actually talked with her and interviewed her, and she's acknowledged that happened. And if they had offered her, she would have taken the job, she says. Be right back in a moment.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
We're with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources, and we're visiting at the brand new DNR offices at the State Farmers Market. Major, tell us more about this place.
That's right, Phil. The Department of Natural Resources has a new office located at the South Carolina Farmers Market. You can find us at 260D Epting Lane inside the Farmers Market grounds. Look for the DNR logo when you turn off of Highway 221 in West Columbia, or you can always go to the App Store on your Apple or Android device and look for Go Outdoors SC. Download the app and you can buy all of your license needs right there.
Visit GoOutdoorsSouthCarolina.com today.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at ExperienceColumbiaSC.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love, and you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
When South Carolina's best high school football players take the field at the Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, they're backed by a powerful team of their own. As proud title sponsors, your local co-ops celebrate more than just a game. It's a tradition where talent shines, where teamwork matters, and where community spirit takes center stage. Don't miss the 78th Touchstone Energy Cooperatives Bowl, December 13th at Doug Shaw Memorial Stadium in Myrtle Beach, powered by your electric cooperative.
Okay, we're back on Sports Talk, Sports Talk Media Network. Another beautiful day in South Carolina today. Temperature very, very nice out there. Just a little bit above the really warm stage, but cooling off at night. Great time to be at the beach. My goodness, Swit and I love to be at the beach and enjoying things along the coast. We can't do it right now because of work, but you can do it. You can get to the beach. You can enjoy the upcoming weekend or maybe a longer period of time, and you can let Jimmy Smith put you right in the right location at the right price. All you got to do is give Jimmy a phone call at James Smith Real Estate. That's 843-237-4246. That's for your perfect beach getaway. 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Quick phone call, quick text message to them, quick email. They'll get right back to you and work on your situation to get you what you need. That phone number, once again, 843-237-4246. We do have the audio from Dawn Staley from that podcast. She was on with who?
She was on what is called Post Moves with Candace Parker and also Dawn Staley's former player, Leah Boston, to talk with them about what exactly happened with the New York Knicks. And I think she was a lot closer to taking that job than Gamecock fans would have liked to have heard.
Here we go.
I interviewed for the Knicks. I did. It was the same interview that everybody else that was in their candidate pool. Same thing. Went in. I mean, it was like hours, but in the interview, I thought I did pretty well. I was well prepared for the interview, right? If the Knicks would have offered me the job, I would have had to do it, okay? Not just for me, it's for women, for just to break open that I would have to, and it's the New York Knicks. And I'm from Philly, but it's the freaking New York Knicks. I think I probably lost the job by asking this question, or I had a series of questions that I asked them. One was for who they were looking for why I was in the candidate pool, right? If I was so attractive, I said, has the New York Knicks organization in its history ever had what you're looking for? They wanted a team. They wanted the inclusiveness with management and the coaches, and everyone wanted to feel like a team, a closely knit franchise. And the answer was really no. But if you don't hire anybody different, how are you going to get that? That's one. And then my other question was, how, if you hired me as the first female coach in the WNBA, how would it impact your daily job? Because you're going to be asked questions that you don't have to be asked if you hire a male coach. There's going to be the media. There's going to be all this stuff that you're going to have to deal with that you didn't have to deal with and you don't have to deal with when you hire a male. And then that got them to thinking. That really got them to thinking about, And then I felt the energy change after that. So I shot myself in the foot by being Aaliyah, being inquisitive, asking all those darn questions.
That's awesome. That's the first time I've heard that, and that is simply spectacular, awesome commentary by Dawn Staley. Wow. Two things. A, she wanted the job.
Clearly.
And B, she would have taken the job had she gotten it. And maybe another point, C, they apparently, going into the interview, were very interested until she laid those things out for them to give them something else to think about. And they probably weighed all of that against hiring a male.
Mm-hmm.
Who did they end up hiring? They ended up hiring, who did they end up hiring? I know it's a redo. I know it's a guy. I think it's somebody who's coached in the league before. Did they hire Mike? Is it Mike something?
They did,
Brown. Mike Brown.
Brown.
I mean, he's coached at Cleveland. He's coached everywhere. He's one of those coaches that LeBron gets fired. You know, you coach LeBron, and you might win a championship or do really well, but then when he leaves, or when it doesn't work out, you end up getting fired because if you can't win it all with LeBron, you're getting fired. But wow, that's something. So
think about the impact, Phil, that would have had here. Because you're talking about, and I don't think there's any argument, the greatest coach that's ever patrolled the sidelines at South Carolina in any sport, with 3 national championships, 647 wins in her career, if you add in the Temple stuff as well, leaving to go to New York Knicks. I mean, where would Jeremiah Donati go from here?
Down.
Or would maybe Ray Tanner was glad he didn't have to worry about that. No, if Dawn Staley leaves, I want Donati to make that hire.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, wherever he goes, the program would go down in all likelihood.
Yeah.
It's only natural. Mm-hmm. But interesting. And she also said she wasn't doing this for her. She was doing it to break that glass ceiling.
Right.
A woman as a head coach in the NBA. I mean, that was her aspiration. It wasn't so much for her career. I mean, her career has been established. Wow, that's some great stuff. Okay, we'll be back. More coming up here on Sports Talk. Beamer around the corner.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll have clouds rolling in this evening and throughout the night. The low temperature dipping down to 62. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy for us. We'll have a high temperature of 84, and rain chances will increase on Friday. Meanwhile, the weekend gives us high temperatures in the low 80s. We'll have a 30 to 40% chance for rain both Saturday and Sunday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Hey y'all, it's Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We're introducing the Wing and a Prayer Wednesday Special. Purchase an order of wings and a drink and get a free gift card for the arcade. We have some of the most mouth-watering jumbo wings like flamethrower hot wings, barbecue wings, teriyaki wings, honey mustard wings, terry hot wings. You can get a half dozen for $9.95 or a dozen for $18.95. Served with celery and choice of dressing. So come join us at Flight Deck Restaurant to enjoy some great jumbo wings and lots of fun in our new and improved arcade. And we at Flight Deck Restaurant thank y'all and God bless.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A shooter has opened fire during Mass at a Minneapolis Catholic school, killing 2 children and injuring 17 other people before dying by suicide. The victims include 2 children who were fatally shot Wednesday morning while in the church pews. 17 others, including 14 children, were injured. All 17 are expected to survive. Authorities say a 23-year-old fired dozens of rounds through the church windows. A top Florida official says the controversial state-run immigration detention facility in the Everglades will likely be empty in a matter of days, even as Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' administration fights a federal judge's order to shut down the facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz by a late October deadline. More details at srnnews.com.
When your pipes panic, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning steps right in, fast and friendly. Josh and his team aren't just fixing leaks, they're restoring your peace of mind. This is when you're at your most vulnerable. You got a problem, you need a solution. They're not coming out to upsell you or talk you into something new this or new that. You'll appreciate their process. They'll tell you what needs to get done and what it'll cost before they ever even bring in their tools to start the work. They're locally owned, which unfortunately is no longer the norm in the Midlands. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning will treat every home like their own. They've done work for me, for my brother, countless numbers of Point listeners. Dial 799-2222 or visit franklinplumbing.sc.com and you tell them Kev from The Point sent you. You will experience plumbing that's more than just a fix. It's a solution from people who care about their work and stand by it. When you need them, please don't panic. Just call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 799-2222.
Palmetto State Armory is on a mission of making freedom available to all Americans. And with retail stores across South Carolina and a fully stocked online shop, we're delivering freedom coast to coast. PSA is an American-made and veteran-owned firearms company built for those who believe in the Second Amendment and the strength of self-reliance. From suppressors, firearms, ammo, and accessories to fishing gear and apparel, we're more than a gun company. We're a movement. Visit us in store or online at PalmettoStateArmory.com. Palmetto State Armory, American-made for life.
You work hard for your money. Shouldn't your money work hard for you too? Think about all the hours you've put in, the late nights, the early mornings, the dedication to your craft. Now imagine those dollars doing some of the heavy lifting for a change, growing quietly in the background while you focus on what matters most. Whether you're saving for a dream vacation, a new home, or just building a cushion for peace of mind, putting your money to work is one of the smartest moves you can make. Open a certificate at Founders Federal Credit Union and earn more with your savings. For a limited time only, Founders is offering 18-month certificates at 4.32% annual percentage yield and 18-month IRA certificates at 4.58% annual percentage yield. To get started, visit foundersfcu.com/dividend rates or one of our many convenient office locations. All you need is $500 to get started, but don't delay. These rates won't last. Open your certificate today. Your future self will thank you for opening a certificate at Founders. Federally insured by the NCUA. Membership qualification required. $500 minimum balance. 18-month term. Dividends compound quarterly. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Sweet from Sweet Comfort Services HVAC. We're locally owned and operated, which really helps keep pricing reasonable. With lower overhead and more accountability, we stand by the systems we install, our repairs, and our parts. Most nationally owned companies know they have plenty of work this time of year when it's really hot. We'll treat you great no matter what time of year it is. Call Sweet Comfort Services HVAC at 803-331-8143. That's 803-331-8143.
He's got a mic in his hand, a voice so smooth. Phil Cornblatt's the name, they call him Corn Coot. Sports talk king, yeah, he rules the air. But neutrality, man, it's just not there. He says he's balanced, calls it down the line. But those Gamecock colors, they always shine. Corn Coot, oh Corn Coot. Says he's neutral, but we see the truth. Corn Coot, oh Corn Coot. Loves the Cox, it's his favorite suit. Clemson fans call in, they take their shot. Phil nods along, but his heart does not. He tries to play it cool, to toe the field, but his Gamecock pride just won't stay sealed. He's got stats and facts, he's got the flow, but that rooster crow gives him away, you know. Corn Coot, oh Corn Coot.
That actually has a nice beat to it, don't you think, Bergie?
The beat, yeah, no doubt.
I like the work of the Sports Talk Orchestra there. I mean, the words, the little bit off on that, the actual verses there, a little bit off, but that's okay. We take all descriptions here.
Very
on Sports
accurate,
Talk.
though.
No, it's
very accurate.
What, the Corn Coot part?
Yeah.
No,
that's not very accurate.
That's not accurate. That's not accurate at all.
I mean, even like the way that whoever does the streaming stuff, whoever puts together our stuff that goes out on YouTube and Facebook and X and all that, they even put your name as Phil Corncoot on.
No, that's pretty sad. I'm going to fire that person.
I'm not sure who did that.
Can you identify
today.
that person? Because they'll be immediately fired.
I think it might have been Chris. I'm not sure who did it today, but
they will be immediately dismissed from this operation. Can we get back to serious stuff? Phone number 888-898-2525. Shane Beamer coming up in just a moment. I wanted to go over this because the NFL, of course, being very active with transactions, players coming and going. So today, a couple of new things today on that front, on the wire. The Cowboys waived former Clemson defensive back Andrew Booth. The Packers waived former Furman defensive back Micah Robinson, who finished up at Tulane. Yesterday was the last of the big cut-down days, so I went through the entire list, and I checked it twice and thrice, and here are the players who were connected to Clemson who were cut yesterday, 15 of them. Hunter Renfrow, DJ Uiagalelei, Jordan McFadden, Tremaine Ankrum. This one hurt me. Isaiah Simmons. I liked it when the Packers signed him. I can't believe they cut him. Jackson Carman, Carlos Watkins, Cleveland Farrell. Deshaun Watson was placed on the PUP list by the Browns. Jake Brenningstool, Chiefs, injured reserve, but they do plan to call him up when he's healthy. Cornell Powell, Peyton Page, Deion Kane, Joe, and Darion Kendrick cut by the Rams there. So those are the Clemson guys. 17 USC players. Dante Miller, Juice Wells, Josh Simon. Surprised the Falcons cut him.
Yeah, me too.
Zach Pickens. Thought he had a place there with the Bears. Jalen Brooks, Kevin Harris, Delvon Campbell. How about Rocket Sanders being cut by the Chargers? Didn't see that coming. Alex Huntley, Vershawn Lee, Nick Muse, Israel Mukwamu, who had a nice career with the Cowboys. They cut him. Mo Camara, E.J. Jenkins, Stone Blanton, Adam Prentice, and Chris Lamons, all cut. Others, South Carolina State linebacker Aaron Smith and State defensive back Antonio Hamilton, Coastal defensive lineman C.J. Brewer, and Conway native offensive lineman Raekwon O'Neal. All were cut yesterday. Now, it may not be over. In fact, Shane Beamer said he talked to every player who I guess who were just recently drafted and cut, but said almost all of them said they were told they're going to be picked up for the practice squad for their respective teams. So that does count as being in the NFL if you're on the practice squad. So maybe many of these guys are going to get picked up. I didn't see. I went through the transactions today, and I did not see any of these guys being picked up by teams for the practice squad just yet. So we'll see what happens there.
I wondered about the Panthers' decision to cut Hunter Renfrow, but I'm seeing where Dave Canales, the new head coach there, said that he observed peaks and valleys in Renfrow's performance. I wonder if, a year or so that he had off, I wonder if that affected his consistency, because that was the one thing that always impressed me at Clemson and when he was with the Raiders. But Canales did say they have a couple of things on the table, so there is a chance maybe they bring Renfrow back for the practice squad.
All right. Poll question of the week, presented by Larry Lucas Insurance, right here in Columbia, right at the corner of Hardin and Gervais Streets. Be sure to call Larry at 803-799-1998, 803-799-1998 for all your insurance needs. 40% of the votes in today believe South Carolina Clemson will both win. 36.4% South Carolina wins, Clemson loses. 14.5% has it the other way. 9.1% believe that both will lose. That ain't happening. Both will lose Saturday and Sunday.
All right. That would be a damper on the start of the season, wouldn't it?
That would be more than a damper. That would be a doggone flood on the season. All right, let's get to Shane Beamer as we roll out a Talking Tuesday on a Wednesday here on Sports Talk. Even though it's Wednesday, it's Tuesday for the Gamecocks in terms of their preparation for a game on Sunday. So today, Shane Beamer met with the media for what would be his Tuesday press conference on a Wednesday. But let's pretend it's Tuesday. And here is Shane Beamer.
So happy that it's finally game week as well, like we talked to our players about. You work all year for 12 guaranteed opportunities, and we get our first one Sunday as well. Could not be more excited about getting going on that. Without a doubt, Obviously excited. A couple things, house cleaning before we get into Virginia Tech. Excited for Rasul. Awesome news that he is free. Huge props and thanks to our compliance office, Aaron Abbey, Angie Ludwig, and John Stevenson. They, along with everyone here at the university, worked really, really hard on this. Appreciate the NCAA and working with us on that one also. So it was a process. There's no question about it. But in the end, had the best resolution for him and what I think was the right thing to do, without a doubt. So really excited for him, and our team is also, and thanks to everyone involved on that one. Update on Travian Robertson, obviously really serious accident last week. Truthfully, he's very lucky to be alive as well. He will not be with us this weekend in Atlanta. He will be back soon. I've talked to him. I've seen him since the wreck, and I've talked to him as well, and he's eager to get back out here and will be as soon as possible. Everyone knows what this place means to him and how much it hurts him not to be here with us right now, but his health is the primary thing, and had some pretty serious stuff happen to him in that wreck. So I would ask for continued thoughts and prayers for he and his family, but he is going to be okay. It's nothing long term. It's just physically he's not able to be down on the sidelines at a game right now as well. So Jordan Dove, who works closely with our defensive line, is essentially the defensive line coach right now, working with the tackles. Obviously, Sterling Lucas is heavily involved, being that his position lines up next to the tackles, and then we've got a really talented defensive staff, and everybody's responsibilities need to increase in Travian's absence in the short term. This won't be a all-year thing by any stretch of the imagination, but just this week and until Travian gets back. And then we're fortunate that we've got a older group in that room. Nick Barrett's been here as long as I have in this program. Nick Barrett's been in this defensive system longer than Travian Robertson has, because he's been here since year one with us. So we've got older guys in that defensive line room. And they'll all do a great job and play their butts off this weekend for Travian until he gets back here with us. Also, want to congratulate all of our NFL guys. That's so freaking awesome that so many of those guys that were on last year's team are now on NFL rosters. And then I talked to every one of our guys that got put on waivers or released yesterday, and except for one of them, and everyone that I talked to last night or this morning, the team has told them that they want them back on the practice squad, and which is great news for those guys. They're all NFL football players, and really excited for them, and a great testament to them and then our program, just their development and what they were able to do here, and then have an opportunity to go be on an NFL roster. Really fired up and excited for them, and then obviously really fired up and excited for this upcoming weekend to be able to compete in the Aflac kickoff game that Gary Stoken over in Atlanta puts on with his team. Anything that they do is first class, whether it be the Peach Bowl or any sporting event that comes to Atlanta. The Peach Bowl Golf Challenge that myself and other head coaches play in the springtime, which is a first-class event. It's going to be awesome. Everything they do is first class, and this event will be as well. Really fired up for George Rogers. He'll be our honorary captain on Sunday as well. Georgia native, Heisman Trophy winner here at Carolina, so I know George is excited about that as well. I know there'll be a ton of fans from Carolina there. Can't wait to see all the garnet and black in the stands. We are doing a pregame walk like we do here in Columbia for home games, so I'm sure we'll post on social media all the details of that, but would encourage our fans to come out and see our guys when we arrive at the stadium a couple hours before kickoff for that walk on Sunday. Obviously playing a great opponent in Virginia Tech. You old heads that have been around here for a little bit will remember that these two teams used to play every year and my dad became the head coach at Virginia Tech in 1987, and they played in 87, they played in 88, they played in 89, they played in 90, they played in 91 as well. And then South Carolina went into the SEC, and Virginia Tech went into the old Big East Conference that was created back in the early 90s, and then they didn't play anymore. But thought then as a kid growing up that these were two teams that needed to play every year, and it's crazy that we haven't in so long, but it'll be exciting to play against a team that we have a history with as well, and a good football team. This is a team that, in my opinion, last season was much better than their record. If you go back and look at last season, they had 2 3-point losses and a 4-point loss. And I think everybody was watching the Miami game, which I think was one of our off weekends, when they had a really, really controversial finish to that game that easily could have been a win, had a 3-touchdown lead against Syracuse, and they weren't able to hang on that one. So 2 7-point losses, I believe, a 4-point loss, and 2 3-point losses. And they're on the other side of those. They're a play or two away from being a 9-3 team, and this is a top 15 matchup because of the players they have coming back as well. They dealt with some injuries last season, very similar to what we were in 2023 with some of the injuries and close losses that we had. They got really good players on all 3 phases. They're very well coached. I don't think enough people are talking about Kyron Drones, the quarterback. He's a heck of a talent, and he can make all the throws. He reminds me a lot of Lenorth in his ability to run the ball. He's a quarterback that's able to run the ball, but he's not shying away from contact. I mean, he has a play against Old Dominion last year where he breaks it off for 60, and he's trying to run over people, and defenders are just bouncing off of him. So he makes our offense go, and will be a big challenge for us on Sunday. And then, like I said, well coached, got a ton of respect for Brent Pry. I think the world of him. He was a graduate assistant coach when I was a player at Virginia Tech, and he gets Virginia Tech. And it's real and genuine with him, his love of Virginia Tech, his appreciation for my dad, the kind of person he is. And certainly he's doing a great job with that program, and somebody that I got a lot of respect for. And we're looking forward to competing on Sunday. Questions? Hail. Did you not see David?
I guess he was afraid to ask about the depth chart.
Go ahead.
I guess Dave was scared about the depth chart or asking about it. So I'll ask, will you release one? Will we get to see one, or are we going to have to piece it together on Sunday afternoon?
You'll piece it together. And again, I've got respect for y'all, and I understand you have a job to do, and it's not trying to be any kind of gamesmanship. I called Brent Pry last week, and I told Brent Pry that I was not going to release a depth chart this week because I didn't want him to release one, and then we don't release one, and he's like, what the heck? So I called him last week to tell him that I was not releasing a depth chart. It's not any kind of trying to keep secrets from Virginia Tech. To be totally honest, I'm just trying to avoid unnecessary overreactions, which is what a depth chart is when it comes out. I mean, we still got position battles going on out there on the practice field. And if I had released a depth chart, it was going to have a gazillion ands and ors on there, because that very much is the case at a lot of those positions. So again, I'm respectful of the job that you guys have, and I'm not trying to make things more difficult on you guys, but that's what I was just trying to avoid as I looked at what's best for our team right now. It was not putting anything out on paper. I'm not sure what we'll do on Sunday leading up to the game. I can tell you I think we do it with about 28 minutes left on the clock in pregame warmups. The first offense will come together and run plays against the first defense. So that'll be a great look at it. That gives you a 28-minute head start before kickoff. And then after that, we go down and we kick an extra point. So you'll see our starting snapper, holder, kicker at that point. And then we turn around and we punt. So you'll see the starting snapper, punter, and we punt to the starting punt returner. So you'll be able to knock that off before kickoff as well. And I'm not trying to be a smart, that's truly what's going to happen as well if we don't put anything out before then. But Steve and I will talk about it. But Dabo and Kirby didn't put a depth chart out before this game last year. Everybody survived, the players, the coaches, the teams, the fans, the media, and I'm sure this year will be no different with us as well.
All right, Shane Beamer. Yeah, I mean, look, that's nice to have a depth chart, but from a coach's standpoint, it's not an absolute necessity for him to for a head coach to service the media's needs,
But he should look after his radio crew's needs because those things are absolutely critical. And I have a depth chart from UVA and also one from Coastal for this weekend.
Don't you think he provides that kind of stuff to his own people inside?
I would hope so.
I would think so. Those guys get to go in and watch practice.
I think it's ridiculous not to, but,
No, I'm sure they do. They get to go in and watch the practices and the scrimmages. They have an idea. Be right back after the break.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls, battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th and 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosseller-Brown. Did you know Lawyer Lisa offers a prevention plan add-on to our services? If you already have a trust or just need some updates, ask about getting your ducks in a row and getting all of your wishes set out before it's needed. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
The lottery is not about getting rich. It's about helping people. And it always has been. The lottery is what helped raise the Great Wall of China, build the roads of Rome, and today in South Carolina, it's what generates millions of dollars each year for scholarships like the SC Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellows. The South Carolina Education Lottery is investing in you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou to learn more.
That's the time for phone calls if you want to join us. Phone number 888-898-2525. Move quickly, grab a line. And got a text message from a listener, Ray, telling us that Rocket Sanders has been picked up. He signed with the Browns. So
okay.
Thank you for the heads up. Hadn't seen that. So Rocket Sanders headed to the Browns for a chance to maybe stick with them. That's the funny thing about the way the NFL handles things with their cuts. I mean, they release the list of guys that are being cut leading up to Tuesday, the final day of the cuts. So if you're not on those lists and you think you've made the team, you think you're good to go. But that doesn't stop them from signing somebody off waivers and then cutting you a few days later.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
It's
a cruel business. It really is.
I mean, reading some of these names, going over some of these names, and going through the transaction wire I was really surprised by some of the people who were cut. These are good players. You think,
no doubt.
How are these guys being cut? But they
it shows
certainly
you how
are.
competitive and how difficult it is to play NFL football. I mean, good is not good enough. You've got to virtually be great at whatever position you're trying to make a team. By the way, Dabo Sweeney, hosting his final media availability tonight, says that offensive lineman Walker Parks, this is from Chapel Fowler, has been able to practice in pads the last 2 days, but still, quote, working his way back to 100%. And Harris Sewell and Colin Sadler are still competing for the team's left guard position.
And whichever one is available in case something happens with Parks.
Right.
You got to be concerned about that if you're Clemson going into that game, a guy that's had a bad ankle and now dealing with a knee. How effective can he be? I mean, you hope he's 100% and able to play up to his capabilities.
No doubt.
All right, let's go to Ernest in Georgetown before the top of the hour. Good to have you with us tonight. Ernest, welcome to Sports Talk.
Hey, how you doing? How you guys doing?
Man, we're doing great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. We talked early in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was telling you about my son went to, he graduated from Andrews and went to Fullerton College in California.
Mm-hmm.
So he transferred to Sam Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said that they didn't play him Saturday because older guys in front of him. So I'll see how that goes because he's what they need.
What position? Tell me again.
He plays the D line.
Okay.
And he's number 95. Last name Boyd.
All right. Well, you gotta be patient, and he'll get his opportunity.
I told him just be patient.
Mm-hmm.
He played. They got kind of whooped at Western Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And he went in, in the last I think it was like the last 2 minutes. But if you ever pull that game up, just go down to the last 2 minutes and see that play that he made. It was incredible.
Number 95.
Number 95, yeah.
All right. We shall look him up. I appreciate the heads up. Keep us informed on how he's doing.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
He's loving it, though.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, well, we'll talk again soon.
Yep, you take care. Have a good weekend. Appreciate the phone call. Let's see. You weren't with us last night, Bergie, but, Spencer Rattler won the quarterback job with the Saints, and Kai Kroger won their punting job, and Torricelli Simpkins, former Gamecock offensive guard, is sticking with the team as well, at least for now. So the Gamecocks are marching in on the Saints.
They are overloading the Saints roster. Good to see.
See how Spencer Rattler does. I think he'll do fine.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A shooter opened fire with a rifle through the windows of a Minneapolis Catholic church and struck children celebrating Mass during the first week of school. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says 2 children were killed and 17 people were wounded in the shooting Wednesday morning at the Annunciation Catholic School. O'Hara identifies the shooter.
The coward that shot these victims took his own life in the rear of the church. That coward has been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, no prior criminal history. As to the weapons used to perpetrate this horrific attack, there was a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. All 3 had been lawfully purchased by the shooter.
The shooter also posted a manifesto on YouTube, which has since been taken down. A Florida official says alligator Alcatraz will likely be empty within days.
In a message sent to Florida Rabbi Mario Roseman, who provides religious services there, Florida's Emergency Management Director Kevin Guthrie says we are probably going to be down to 0 individuals within a few days. This comes as Republican Governor Ron DeSantis and the Trump administration fight a judge's order to shutter the facility by late October. Alligator Alcatraz was supposed to hold up to 3,000 detainees as part of Trump's deportation push. I'm Julie Walker.
A new poll showing handling crime is now a relative strength for President Trump. The Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research survey finds Americans are generally not happy about the Republican president's handling of issues like the economy, but are more positive about his tough-on-crime approach. The vast majority of Americans see crime as a major problem in large cities. More at townhall.com.
Attention investors with a 401k, IRA, or retirement account. The dollar has lost over 25% of its value in the past 5 years, and it's only going to get worse. Are you prepared for what's about to happen next? We are Advantage Gold, the #1 customer-rated gold IRA company in America, and we are helping Americans prepare for the great de-dollarization by diversifying their portfolios with physical precious metals. We've partnered with former chief economist of the IMF, Kenneth Rogoff, to give away his latest book called Our Dollar, Your Problem, a must-read for investors. Call 800-741-GOLD, and we'll rush a free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem to your doorstep, and include our special gold IRA investing kit, valued at $49. The dollar is losing value fast. Call 800-741-GOLD now to get your free copy of Our Dollar, Your Problem, and our free gold IRA investing kit. Supplies are limited. Consult your tax and financial professional before investing. Call 800-741-4653. That's 800-741-GOLD.
Federal prosecutors failed to get a felony indictment against the man who threw a sub sandwich at federal law enforcement officials in D.C.
There is the old saying that prosecutors could persuade a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. But in the case of Sean Charles Dunn, charged with assault after throwing a sub-style sandwich at a Customs and Border Protection agent, there's no indictment. A video of the incident went viral, and shortly after he was fired from the Justice Department, where he worked as an international affairs specialist. His arrest came in one of the first days after Donald Trump's August 11th order for federal agents and troops to flood Washington, D.C. Bill Alexander, Washington.
Non-alcoholic beverages are taking off. Consumers include people recovering from addiction, those trying to cut down on their drinking, and the rising number of young adults foregoing alcohol altogether. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll have clouds rolling in this evening and throughout the night. The low temperature dipping down to 62. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy for us. We'll have a high temperature of 84, and rain chances will increase on Friday. Meanwhile, the weekend gives us high temperatures in the low 80s. We'll have a 30 to 40% chance for rain both Saturday and Sunday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Welcome back, everybody. It is hour number 2 of Sports Talk Media Network on this Wednesday night, Tuesday night, if you're in Gamecock land because you don't play till Sunday. Wednesday for everybody else. So we treat it, well, we did the Talking Tuesday part with Shane Beamer, but we'll treat the rest as if it's a Wednesday as we move on with our Wednesday highlights here on Sports Talk in just a moment. Our first visit of this season with coaches Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson here on Sports Talk. Another edition of Chalk Talk coming your way momentarily. In the meantime, a couple of other things to to pass along. Oh, I wanted to mention that we had the captain's picks for the U.S. Ryder Cup team announced today. If you haven't seen this, they are Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Cameron Young, Patrick Cantlay, and Sam Burns. 4 of the 6 have prior Ryder Cup experience. Griffin and Young will be making their debuts. So there you go.
What is Keegan Bradley going to do, Phil? Did he say?
He's not playing.
He's not going to play?
Okay. No, he said he's not picking himself. And
well, I guess he would have had to announce himself today, wouldn't he?
He would have. He would have. He chose not to pick his own name and put himself on the playing roster. It was long expected that he would. Many believed he should, but he squashed that. I just think for him, the importance of being the team captain and overseeing everything was too important, and
I agree.
Felt like it was best to fill out the roster with another capable player. So, again, it's Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Cameron Young, Patrick Cantlay, and Sam Burns. Are we ready with our coaches? No, we're not ready with our coaches. I know Coach Reedy is there, is he not? What's our deal, Plummer?
I'm having a hard time reaching Coach Johnson.
Because?
Well, I was able to reach him, and now I'm not able to. Now my phone's unable to call out.
Because?
I don't know.
So you broke it, is what you're telling me.
I did not break it. I did not.
Did you get some of that smoky pokey stuff up in the computer there? Huh? I'm telling. Do we have Coach Reedy at least?
We do. We do have Coach Reedy.
Let's start with him, but let's get Coach Johnson on the dadgum phone.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
What is so hard about making a phone call around here these days? Unbelievable. You know, I leave the studio for about a month, and this is what happens. It just,
year.
just falls apart. Let's go ahead and start with Coach Reedy. And, of course, he alone can carry a show. We know that, but we want Coach Johnson wants to be with us. He feels his feelings will be hurt, and he will be left out. Is this Coach Reedy?
This is Coach Reedy, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, get me Coach Johnson.
I'm going to work
get
on
me
Coach
my
Johnson.
Yes. All right?
I think this is actually him calling in.
Let's see.
Is this Coach Johnson? Is this a hot call from Coach Johnson?
I am trying to call back. You guys called and I could not hear you.
Well, this is you, and you have called in. Thank you for calling back.
Just at the right time. We're just getting started. All right. I haven't even officially welcomed. So now we can officially welcome Coach Chuck Reedy and Coach Ellis Johnson. Coach
Before
Reedy.
we do that, can we hit their cool music?
Oh, hit the cool music again. All right. Hit it again.
Get ready for a deep dive into the X's and O's. This is Chalk Talk with coaches Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson on the Sports Talk Media Network.
You know, we're just like a football team here. We don't get a preseason either. So we're working out the kinks. We're working out the kinks as we go along. Let's welcome in Chuck and Ellis. Chuck, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing great, Bill.
It is so good to have you back. Ellis, how are you, sir?
Doing great. It's good to be back on the season.
Good to have you back with us. Both of you a year older, but a year wiser. So that's how I look at it. A year more experienced. Okay, Coach Reedy, let's start with you. Let's begin. Clemson and LSU. We'll start with them since that's the first game of the two. Clemson, LSU, Saturday night. What are you expecting? Are you expecting these offenses to go up and down the field?
No. No, I don't expect that. But, obviously both of them are very good on offense. I think Clemson, this is certainly the best, talent-wise, best offense that they've had probably since Trevor was there. They look pretty solid everywhere. Don't know, the running back situation is going to be interesting to see. That's the only, really the only place on offense that there's, any question marks. It's going to be interesting to see Adam Randall. A lot of hype going into the season, but, he's a guy that, every year, there's big expectations from him and he gets hurt or whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see, how that plays out. But certainly everywhere else, they look to be really, really good.
You're a little surprised that they kind of put themselves in a situation where they had to move a wide receiver over? Or is this a case where they discovered that they found they have a wide receiver who they feel like is better at running back than he was at wide receiver. This isn't a case of an absolute need at running back. This is a case of taking advantage of what a guy does best.
Yeah, well, they haven't really recruited really well at running back. Now, Davidson, this year, coming in, it's going to be, there's a lot of hype about him. We don't know. We won't know till we see him. But, I think they kind of got themselves in a position where, they didn't have a lot of options. And, Randall is a big guy. He's, they say he's a 4.3, 4.4 guy. He's never looked that fast to me on the football field. Some guys can run real fast without pads on, and then you put the pads on them and they don't look as fast. But we'll see, and the thing that he's going to do, he's going to give them a receiving threat out of the backfield that they didn't have last year, which will be a really good dimension for them, because certainly they'll have some things for him, in the throwing game that, again, that they didn't have last year with Maffa.
Okay. Ellis, Clemson defense, solid across the front, looks good at linebackers with Woodaz and Sammy Brown and the transfer from Bama and D. Creighton, and others in there. And then secondary, I think corners look really good. Maybe one safety spot. They had some injuries back there at safety. So overall, this Clemson defense looks like they're talking about it being as good as any they've had up there in recent years. What's your take?
Well, I think they can be. I'm a little concerned about overall depth on that side of the ball. Big kids get tired, and you can't play them the whole game, and then their productivity and their performance goes downhill. In the secondary, they have to run so much. You want to be able to substitute for those guys. I think probably the secondary is where the least depth is. But I think you look at both sides of the ball, and there's about 5 or 6 first-rounders on either side. But I don't know if they've got depth, the kind that you got to have to grind 14 or 16 games. But they really are. I think, just from my observations, it seems like Tom runs a little bit more zone than they were running before. That's kind of, I believe in that. It's just a personal thing, but I think there are a lot of things that happen in the running game when you play too much man and people get into the perimeter, and it's very difficult to tackle some of these scrambling quarterbacks and the running backs when they get into the perimeter. So they've looked pretty good. I've seen scrimmages in the spring, and I've seen 2 scrimmages this fall. Watched a little practice the other day. Frankly, when I go to practice, there's about 4 or 5 of us sitting over there, gray-headed old retired coaches, and all we do is BS the whole time. And we don't see much practice. But they're talented, but I've seen some Clemson defenses that are a lot more talented than this one.
All right. Yeah, I love when you talk dirty X's and O's with us, Ellis. I just love when you – it just makes me feel so good all over. What about – so you've watched them. You have all kind of insight. What do you think of the defensive ends? You got Parker one side, you got Helt on the other. You got maybe Lawson working as the number 3 in that rotation. You like those defensive ends as a group?
The first 2 are really good, and especially Parker. I don't know the depth is that type quality, but they're really good players. I mean, they're not going to hurt you, but they're not going to dominate a football game. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I go to practice and I sit there and watch my kid most of the time, and then BS with these coaches that are standing around, and probably don't see it a whole lot, much as I should. But they do have some guys in that front that can be very destructive, but they've got to have some backups, and they've got to be able to rotate them a little bit, because they get tired, they get stripped out.
Chuck, are we making more of this punting situation than necessary? Even Sweeney said yesterday they might not decide on a punter until pregame warm-ups. I mean, is that anything for the Clemson fans to be concerned about?
No, I don't think so. They'll put a guy out there that can punt the ball. may not be a great one, but I'm sure they'll put somebody out there that can do a good job punting, and if they're as good as everybody thinks they are, they may not have to punt too much.
But this LSU defense is going to be pretty stout itself.
Well, it'll have to be a lot better than what it has been.
True.
Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now they brought in a bunch of transfers, and they got Perkins. If he's healthy, he was great as a freshman playing defensive end. They got him in linebacker, but they've got, obviously they're very, very talented, but Clemson, they've got a lot of weapons, and the thing about Clemson, and I think Klubnik is, he is so dynamic in throwing the ball, but also being able to beat you with his feet. And that'll be the difference between he and Nussmeier. Nussmeier, he's not going to beat you with his feet, but Klubnik can do that, and it really gives them another dimension, that LSU won't have.
Ellis, what would you do defensively with Clemson for Nussmeier? I mean, South Carolina rattled his cage a good bit last season. I think they hit him up pretty good. Had a couple of those interceptions. Of course, we know what happened on some of those plays, but they were able to get to him. What about Clemson's defense and how Tom Allen will approach getting after him, you think?
He'll kind of mix it, I think. He's going to probably try to find out if his front four can get it done. If they can, I don't think you'll see a whole lot of blitzing. And again, just comparing from last year to this year, I see less pressure and blitzing going on the practice field. Now, that doesn't always mean the game plan. But, I think it'll be they'll try to find out very early if they can handle it with four people up front, because they've got two guys who are going to be first-round picks probably, and one inside and one outside. And then if they can't do it, they'll start bringing some pressure. A quick comment about the punting. It hadn't been real consistent, and they've been used to having some great ones up there over the last 10 or 15 years. But the biggest thing, LSU got that kid from Kentucky, Barian Brown, I think's his name.
Yeah.
And that dude, he's as good a return guy as there is in the country. He is flat fast. So, if you slip a punt down there with no hang time, that you have no chance of covering properly, he can make you pay for it.
Looking at the numbers from the LSU South Carolina game last season, Nussmeier threw 40 passes, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked twice. He ran the ball 3 times for a loss of 25. So they were in on him a couple of times, a few times, got some pressure on him. And South Carolina, remember that was the game Sellers got hurt, Ashford came in. They ran the ball well. They ran for 243 yards against that defense. Now, Chuck, as you mentioned, they've brought in some transfers to try to toughen up that defense. You think Clemson will try to run the ball based on like this kind of game that they had last year?
Well, Clemson's going to mix it up. Certainly, they're going to try to run the ball. Again, it's going to be we got to see what kind of running backs Clemson has. I mean, but certainly they're going to try to run the ball, and the Clemson's got 4 of their 5 offensive linemen back. I mean, they've got a veteran offensive line. Certainly, if they're going to be a playoff type football team, they've got to be able to run the football, and so. They're going to try to run it, and as I mentioned earlier, the kicker is Klubnik. Now, of course, the thing that I would be concerned about if I was Clemson, they can't let Klubnik go out there and run 10, 15 times a game. I mean, they were very fortunate last year to make it through the year without him getting hurt, but they're not going to be that lucky this year if they expect him to carry the ball that much. And keep him healthy. So I think that's got to be a concern for them.
Chalk Talk with Coach Chuck Reedy, Coach Ellis Johnson. Let's turn to the South Carolina Virginia Tech game. Ellis and South Carolina. I guess you haven't been in to watch the Gamecocks practice or scrimmage. You don't have that kind of privilege. I guess, at South Carolina.
No,
but you should. You should. You helped build that program to greatness. You should.
Huh?
You should still have your keys. You should still have a key to that stadium.
I think I got a key to the indoor, but I can't quite reach the door.
So they've had to kind of retool on defense. Can they be anywhere as good on defense this year than they were last year, in your opinion?
I don't think so, but I don't know that they have to. What they can't do is be bad enough that they don't get stops, get people off the field. They don't want to be playing from behind very frequently. They just, the thing that concerns me is it's all about Lenoris. And it's kind of like if he's on, we're going to win. If he's not, we don't have a shot. They have got to get stops. They got to get the ball back to the offense. He's got to have some help around him. He's just an unbelievable athlete, but he's still, I think, improving as a quarterback. So their defense, one thing that gives me a little confidence, I think they probably got hurt the most in the front with their losses to graduation. And I've got a lot of confidence in Travion Robinson. And, of course, I'm partial to him because of playing for us and everything. But I am concerned about the number of people they lost on defense. And Shane's been, doing the portal now for 3 years, really heavy. And a lot of times that's I think he's done a great job of blending his kids in the program and blending in the portal guys coming in the door. But I think that's got to be a hard job getting all that glued together as opposed to a bunch of kids who coming along playing together for 2 or 3 years. So we'll see. I mean, they had to replace a lot. I mean, that's some really good players last year.
Would you expect that with Kyle Kennard gone and everything he did at one defensive end, now everybody's pointing at Dylan Stewart at being a Superman over there, which he could be a great player, preseason, All-SEC, All-American, and all that. But he's going to draw a lot of attention, is he not? He's going to be double-teamed. He's going to be chip-blocked. He's going to have to run through a running back to get to the quarterback. He's going to face a lot of traffic, is he not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who they got to replace the other kid, but if you go back and look, when he came in the door from Georgia Tech, both of them got better because you had a problem on both sides. You couldn't start picking on one guy or sliding the offensive line or chipping him and everything. It was just hard to block both of them with help. Now they can. And I don't know who they've got to replace the kid that left from Georgia Tech. I don't know who they got to replace him. But hell, he won the national award for defensive lineman. So obviously he had a lot of production. Maybe Dylan helped him. So I think, just the old common thing, you don't want to be the only great pass rusher up front because they're going to have a plan for you. And I think that was one of Carolina's strengths last year.
On the offensive side, Chuck, South Carolina, Virginia Tech, you heard Ellis talking about Lenore Sellers, and he sounds like, if I can put words in Ellis's mouth, he sounds like he doesn't want to hear everything put on Lenore Sellers to make this offense go, that other people have got to do some good things for them.
Well, of course, I mean, there's no doubt about it. And, as solid as Clemson is at just about every position, South Carolina they've still got some question marks. I mean, offensive line is questionable. They've got to find a tight end, to replace Simon. Michael Smith, I guess, is the guy, but, Simon was a leading receiver. You've got, Nick Harbor, he's finally got to, step up and be a great player. There's a lot of question marks. Sellers is not the question mark. Obviously, he's a great player, but he can't do it by himself. And you don't know about Faison. I mean, we've still got to see what he can do. So the running back, they're not going to be as good as they were last year with Brockett Sanders. I can tell you that. So, I think there's a lot of question marks that South Carolina has. I think that they're rated really high because of Lenore Sellers. And I'm not so sure that they're not overrated. And Ellis mentioned they've got 7 transfer guys out of their 22. That's a third of their roster that are new guys. They hit on them last year. The guys they brought in, transfers, they turned out to be really good players. Now, will these be as good? If they are, then they're going to be a really good football team. But there's no guarantee that they're going to be as good as the transfers they brought in last year.
And here we go with the punting situation again. And for them, the place kicking situation, I mean, let's face it, Kai Kroger was an enviable weapon for them to have. Enviable in that other teams would have loved to have him and make you pay attention to their special teams as much as this guy did for them, and the way they used him and the way they faked things. And, I mean, they don't have him anymore, and he's going to be kicking for the Saints now. So what about making up for that?
Yeah, I mean, well, you don't replace that guy. I mean, he's, he was as good as anybody in the country. So, there's going to be a drop-off there. There's no doubt about that. So, again, I just think there are a lot of question marks. Now, they've all may be answered, and they all may be really good. And the thing that they've got going for them is their schedule. Virginia football team. And they certainly have a really good opportunity to be 5-0 before they really hit that rough stretch. But they can't stub fall on their face against a Virginia Tech or a Kentucky or a Vanderbilt and of course going to Missouri will be a tough game. But the schedule is in their favor, and so that's the thing that they do have going for them, to give them a chance to get these, transfer guys adjusted and what have you.
Ellis, do you think Clemson runs the table?
Just hypothetically, I would say no. I mean, I just don't know that they're deep enough, and they're very lucky with injuries, and they keep that same core of football players healthy the whole time. They can play with anybody. But it's going to be a long season, and I don't know that they can do that.
Chuck, do you think Clemson can run the table?
No, they'll find a way to lay an egg.
I thought they were past that. I thought they were past that.
No, I mean they're very, very good, but I mean I think I think they'll beat LSU, but it's been their history that whether it be a or an SMU or in the past a Pittsburgh, where they just have gone out and not played real well. Now that may not be the case this year, but certainly it's been their history.
Guys, we're undefeated after the first week. 1-0 across the board. Great job, Coach Ellis Johnson. Thank you. Try to get into those Gamecock practices if you can in the future. You're still revered. You're still revered over there. You might not know it, but you're still revered.
I got a son on Clemson's team. I don't think they want me hanging around Columbia.
Chuck, we thank you as always. You're revered at both locations, though. It wasn't a good experience in South Carolina for your 1 year.
No, it wasn't.
But it wasn't. You're still highly revered. We thank y'all. Have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. There you go. First edition. Never better, Bergie. Never better. These two guys.
Always good. Yeah, they're always good. And the one thing I always liked about them, they no holds barred. If you don't want the honest truth, don't tune in on Wednesday nights.
Well, they got nothing to lose. What do they got to lose? Be right back.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. We'll have clouds rolling in this evening and throughout the night. The low temperature dipping down to 62. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy for us. We'll have a high temperature of 84, and rain chances will increase on Friday. Meanwhile, the weekend gives us high temperatures in the low 80s. We'll have a 30 to 40% chance for rain both Saturday and Sunday. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
What's better than getting the best Wagyu and Hereford beef anywhere in these parts and getting it delivered to your door? How about knowing you're still supporting local farmers in Saluda over at H&J Cattle, where tradition meets quality? Visit HandJCattle.com. Place your order for $50 or more, get free delivery in Richland or Lexington County. Plus, Point listeners get 10% off your order. Enter keyword The Point as one word for your discount. HandJCattle.com.
The Point. The Point.
Direct. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. A shooter opened fire with a rifle Wednesday through the windows of a Catholic church in Minneapolis and struck children celebrating Mass during the first week of school, killing 2 and wounding 17 people in an act of violence the police chief called absolutely incomprehensible. All 17 are expected to survive. Authorities say a 23-year-old fired dozens of rounds through the church windows. The director of the nation's top public health agency is out after less than 1 month on the job. The Department of Health and Human Services said Wednesday that Susan Monarez is no longer director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 147 points, the Nasdaq rose 45. This is SRN News.
The top international business school in the country is here in Columbia, and you can hear directly from the Darla Moore School. Join me, Casey Whitener, for more impact, phenomenal guests, and work that impacts our community and our state. Every Tuesday at 9 a.m. on 100.7 The Point.
Sometimes timing is everything, and I've been talking the talk about Broker Solar for a good minute. I'm a fan. I've had some Point listeners ask me about Broker Solar. They're on the fence because of what's going on in D.C. Now that the politics have settled, we know what's in that big, beautiful bill. We know the federal tax credit for getting solar power at your home. It's going to end in December, so the clock is ticking. You want that 30% federal tax credit, believe me. So we need to get Ken out to your place before they cut it. Plus, you'll still get a 25% tax credit here in South Carolina. So yeah, timing is everything. 30% federal, 25% state credit. Are you kidding me? That's a big part of the cost already knocked out for solar power. It's time for you to take control of your own power bill. Like I said, timing's everything. Now is the time. Online, it's brokersolar.com or just call Ken and his team. 807-7417. That's 807-7417. brokersolar.com.
Yo, did you see these shirts we made for the party? They're fire.
I still can't believe we got those printed so fast. Where did we even get them done again?
Bardak Design. They're right on campus by the fairgrounds. Literally the best spot to get custom tees. You can't beat their prices, and can you believe how great they came out?
Oh yeah, they're super chill about designs. You can bring your own or they'll help you out. And it's all so affordable.
Plus the turnaround. Lightning fast. They are super cool. And before I knew it, I had my swag.
Exactly. Bardak Design, 1334 Rosewood, in the heart of Carolina student housing. If you want custom gear for your group or event, they're the go-to. Seriously, it's where all the super cool designs happen.
Go see them or give them a call. 254-7940. Every time we've needed them, Bardak on Rosewood comes through with top-notch merch.
Bardak Design, 1334 Rosewood Drive. Custom tees, just a few steps from the heart of campus. Call 254-7940. That's 254-7940.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hello, this is Stacy Huff, host of Huff Nation Sports Zone, each and every Saturday, 10 to 11 a.m. right here on 100.7 FM, The Point, and also 1470 a.m. It'll be a fun trip around the world of sports. Huff Nation Sports Zone, check it out.
And I didn't stop there, I swear. From the time I wake up to the time I lay down, it's the devil's playground everywhere that I look. Swear it's there in my blood, I was born to be lost. A lot of lines that I crossed, little more than I should. I'm losing me too. Pretty eyes and the proof. He knew what I'd bout, he knew what would tempt me. He threw out the apple, said let there be women and let there be whiskey.
All right, more transaction news from the NFL as things continue to happen by the hour these particular days. 3 former Clemson players signed for practice squads. Offensive lineman Jordan McFadden, Chicago. Defensive tackle Peyton Page by the Jets. Defensive end Carlos Watkins by the Titans. As far as South Carolina is concerned, they've had, as Shane Beamer said, they had several to be picked up. This is for practice squads. So tight end Josh Simon was signed by the Falcons to their practice squad. Receiver Jalen Brooks signed by Dallas. Running back Adam Prentice was signed by Denver. These are all their former teams. Defensive back Chris Lamons was signed by Indianapolis after they had cut him. Defensive tackle Alex Huntley was signed by Miami. And you had offensive guard Vashawn Lee signed by Minnesota. And you had running back Dante Miller, the speedster, who was signed by the Giants. And you had from South Carolina State linebacker Aaron Smith signed by the Jets. You also had defensive back Antonio Hamilton out of South Carolina State, and he was signed by the Commanders. So I think that's everybody that has, besides the Rocket Sanders stuff.
It's like every practice squad in the NFL I think you covered. Very nicely done.
Well, I'm looking here at that's practice squad. Now, Cleveland signed Rocket Sanders, but I don't think they signed him to the practice squad. They signed him, I think, to their regular squad. So all this stuff with the NFL, it's very confusing. You have all these different levels, and you have some guys who were cut, but they had partial contracts and all this sort of stuff that comes into play. But that's what we're getting from the NFL releases as we keep a close watch on all that this week. All right, to Tiger Bryan, we go next. He comes off the practice squad. He's back on the varsity. Tiger Bryan, welcome in. Good to hear from you.
Man, I just love this cool weather, don't y'all?
Yeah, man, it's good sleeping weather.
I ain't lying. Good camping weather, catfishing weather.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I start back camping in October. First week of October, we're going to be at Lake Greenwood.
Nice.
I'll be listening to y'all on Talking Tuesday. I'll call you from there. But
that's good.
I was going to give you a little update. You've been drinking that Kool-Aid. What you got in it, moonshine?
Yeah.
But, yeah, you drinking that scout Kool-Aid with them Gamecocks now calling on me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Coach Reedy kind of threw Coach Reedy kind of threw some cold soup on me there about thinking about the Gamecocks. I don't know. He pointed out a number of things that are true. That are true.
Well, you better go ahead and get you some ice water instead of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I got a prediction on both teams.
Okay, go ahead.
Somebody else call it. Hey, my Tigers be 31-17. I'm picking Virginia Tech upset Gamecock 31-28. Write it down.
That would be disastrous for South Carolina.
Well, they gonna be disastrous. They ain't got no offensive line. I got some people on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know you have sources. You have sources.
I do. I got you.
That's right. I'm your source. All right, thank you, Tiger Bryan.
Tiger Bryan, what's going to be Tigers' record this year?
Undefeated, the national championship.
They going 12-0?
We're going all the way.
Okay, thank you, Tiger Bryan. That'd be 16-0. As Dabo says, they can be the first 16-0 team. That's his hope. Speaking of Dabo Swinney, here's a couple of more minutes. I know we had him yesterday, but he met with the media this afternoon after practice, last media session of the week going into the opener. Couple of minutes more, Dabo Swinney talking about his team and talking about LSU.
Hey, Dabo, it's Chapel. How much has Walker Parks been able to practice the last 2 days?
Pretty good bit. He's been able, he's been out here in pads the last couple of days, getting some reps in and getting a lot of the teamwork. Still working his way back to 100%, but he's in a good spot.
And another offensive line question: how is the battle at left guard shaping up this week? Do you feel like you have a decision there, or?
I mean, look, we got 7 guys, and they're all starters, and whoever runs out there first, I could care less between that group. Honestly, I think they're all going to play, and whoever Matt runs out there first, I'll be good with it.
Evo, this is Larry. Can you hear me?
Yep.
With Jaden Lucas missing most of camp, I guess, how much work did he have to do to get back just speed of the game type of thing?
Yeah, he got behind early, but he was able to get some scrimmage work in, so that was good. We got some live work in. He missed the 2 actual scrimmages, but we were able to do a little, couple periods of live work that he got, and so he's been rolling for the last 2 weeks, and looks good.
Would he be your number 3 corner?
He might be number 2. He might be number 1. I don't know. We'll see. He's definitely one of them for sure. He's a good one.
Hey, Dabo, this is Darian Carter. Tyler Brown mentioned earlier today just how much he appreciated the time being off. I give one different perspective of watching on the sideline rather than being on the field. Have you kind of seen that perspective from him entering his 3rd season?
Yeah, I mean, it's just great to have him back. I mean, the rotation that we have, those guys being able to, just roll and go play. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to watch, and he's just been about his business every day. He's had an excellent camp. He's just showing up every day. He plays fast. He plays tough, and I thought he was a great player as a freshman. Obviously, he was out last year, but he's the best version of Tyler Brown that I've seen since he's been at Clemson. And so he's still got more work to do, but he's the best that he's been since he's been here, and he's been here 2 full years. So he's beginning his 3rd year, and he's as you should. He's really, really developing into a good player.
Dabo Chapel again. This is going to be the first Clemson football regular season game where they're selling alcohol in the stadium. But how do you think that's going to impact the environment, obviously, for a night game to start off?
Yeah, well, it's probably the first time they're selling it, but it ain't the first time they've been there, I promise you. So I think that's probably the only difference. I mean, I think as long as I've been here, they just let people go out at halftime, right? So I'm sure they ain't all bringing Diet Coke back in, but it's kind of like NIL and pre-NIL, right?
Gonna be a lot of drunk people around Death Valley between the Tiger fans and the Tiger fans. Be right back. Chase Briscoe.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love, and you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
Life insurance isn't for you. It's for those you love the most. For a complete insurance review, call Buddy Bridges in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174, serving Lawrence, Clinton, and the shores of Lake Greenwood.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I'm not a case manager. I'm a lawyer for over 35 years. I don't charge 40% for your injury in your wreck case or any on-the-job injury. Call 803-765-2968 and ask for Jim Corbett, or email me, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com, for the experience of a lawyer handling your injury case. Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968. jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. Put 35 years of experience to work on your injury case.
G3 here with Tsunami Bar Sports, and it's time for a fall preview. That's right, 720 Chris Drive, 378 and I-26, Frontage Road, where you can now preview the best technology for golf known to man. It's the Tsunami Bar. It's live weight. It's the only technology out where you get your tempo and flow going before you play. Now, it also serves as a pattern support tool. 720 Chris Drive, Frontage Road, 378 and I-26. You also can visit the Garage Gym Pro Shop. Pick up your tools, take them home, and while you're here, tour the Scramble Course 6-hole pitch and putt right now.
75 years, one reputation, too tough to tame. The Lady in Black doesn't care who you are, rookie or vet, playoffs favorite or long shot. 75 years of scraped walls. battle scars, and history made the hard way. This Labor Day weekend, be there to write the next chapter of the Cookout Southern 500. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Darlington Raceway, August 30th to 31st. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
This is Major Billy Downer with the Department of Natural Resources, and I've got a message for all of our hunters out there. When you go afield, always make sure to positively identify your target. Know the identifying features of the game you're hunting, and know what's beyond your target in case you miss. If you want more information on hunter education, visit dnr.sc.gov or join us on Wednesday nights for SC Wild.
You can listen to SC Wild on the Sports Talk Media Network or at dnr.sc.gov/podcasts.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Looking to make life simple and save money? Transfer your credit card balance to a Founders credit card and take advantage of our balance transfer rates as low as 2.99% APR. Plus, you'll pay no balance transfer fees. Now through September 30th. Save more and stress less with this limited time offer. Promotional rate expires 6 months from the date of the transaction. Then effective APR of 13.25% to 17.90% will apply. For more details, visit foundersfcu.com/cc. Membership qualification required.
South Carolina's taste buds have spoken, and they're asking for beef. There are more than 7,800 farms raising cattle from pasture to plate in the Palmetto State. So whether it's steaks on the grill before the big game, sirloin medallions plated for date night, or burgers with a family, make sure beef is a part of your playbook this football season. Smoked, grilled, and slow roasted. Find the best way to enjoy your beef at scattle.org. Beef. It's what's for dinner in South Carolina. Funded by the South Carolina Beef Council, part of the Beef Checkoff program.
Straight Up Sports is simply all sports, all the time. Straight Up Sports is a collection of retired and award-winning sports writers and sports broadcasters from around South Carolina. Like Bob Gillespie from the State Newspaper, Scott Kiefer from the Greenville News, and Mark Sturgis from ESPN Upstate. Straight Up Sports is about the stories, just like the days gone by with no editors nor managers involved. Check us out on Facebook or Twitter or online at straightupsports.net.
Okay, we're back with all the football. Of course, it's Darlington week. Cookout Southern 500, first playoff race. Earlier this week, had a chance to talk with the defending champion of that race, Chase Briscoe.
Definitely a busy time of the year, just with the playoffs and everything finally ramping up. But yeah, looking forward to going back to Darlington and trying to obviously go back-to-back in the Southern 500. That'd be really, really special to do. And yeah, it's just a place I love going to. It's one of my favorite racetracks in general. So whether it's the spring race or the Southern 500, just love running laps around Darlington. And yeah, definitely looking forward to this weekend and hopefully kicking off our playoffs on the right foot.
Well, you qualified well there this time last year. You went out and won the race. And what do you recall about last Labor Day and getting it done?
Yeah, I just remember it being, honestly, I felt like the best race I've ever ran in my career, kind of from start to finish. I felt like we were always up in the mix, and there's so many opportunities to make mistakes at Darlington, and especially in the Southern 500, just run that close to the wall for as long as you have to, and just felt like I did my job that night to the best of my ability. I thought our team did the best to their ability. Pit crew, everything just went how it should go, and we fully executed. So, normally in these cup races, when you can fully execute, not make mistakes at all night long, you're normally at least in the mix to win. It doesn't always go your way to win the race, but at least you're in the mix. And for us, last year during the Southern 500, we just did everything we could to put ourselves into position, and we were able to capitalize it when it came down to it. So hopefully we can, do the same this time around.
Being a Southern 500 champion so young in your career, what has that meant to you over the last 12 months?
Yeah, pretty unbelievable. That's certainly, it's one of the crown jewels and one of those major races that every driver dreams of having on their resume, right? And for me to be able to do it, it's really my second ever career win at the Cup level. It's pretty crazy. I know that every time I kind of walk by the trophy or whatever, I kind of just take a second to just look at some of the names on there and some of the faces on there, and it's even on it. It definitely feels deserving to be on there with kind of the who's who of our sport. So, yeah, it's definitely a race that whenever you win it, it's very special. The confidence that comes along with it, and even just the respect level in the garage, just it goes up whenever you can win at Darlington, whether it's, like I said, the spring race or the Southern 500. But, especially to be able to do it and the way we did it was, something that I'll never forget for sure.
Let's flash back to Saturday night at Daytona. And I mean, it was wild. It was absolutely wild. And from where you were, what were you seeing up ahead of you as things were coming apart in some areas, and then that wild race to the finish there at the end?
Yeah, for sure was crazy and a chaotic race. I mean, it always is every time we go to Daytona or Talladega, but especially given the circumstances of it being the last race of the regular season, you guys were going to be really aggressive, and yeah, I thought. We had an up and down night. Was able to lead some laps and be up front there in the mix, and kind of got shuffled out at the end. But yeah, it was definitely a crazy finish. I coming to 2 to go, I was literally side by side with Ryan Blaney, and 13th or 14th, and I look up 2 laps later, and he won the race. So it was just crazy how fast things can happen there. And he ended up winning the race, and I think I finished 23rd. So it's kind of two opposites of what can happen, and just everything kind of went right for him and kind of went wrong for me. And, they could have went totally different, right? So, yeah, that's just kind of the name of the game when we go to these super speedways. Things can change really, really quickly for the good or for the worse. And, it just wasn't on our side that night.
What happened at that point? You're right beside him. Next thing you know, he's moving up. You're not. What did he find that you were not able to find at that point?
Yeah, it was just one of those circumstances where the middle lane kind of, I think it was Ryan Priest that got kind of shuffled out, and it kind of killed the momentum of the middle lane. And I was on the bottom lane at the time, and Ryan was in the middle lane right beside me. And when it all kind of started breaking up, he went to the top lane up by the wall, and the top lane just kind of took off, and that bottom lane and middle lane kind of died off for a second and just lost a ton of momentum, and was able to put him in a really good position where he went from being, say, 6th or 7th in the middle lane to now being 2nd in the top lane. And once that top lane, the leader pulled down, it allowed Ryan to be the leader of the top lane and was able to win the race because of it. So, yeah, he just does a great job, honestly, at those super speedways. I feel like he's honestly probably the best guy in the sport right now, super speedway racing. And you kind of saw him put on kind of one of those just class acts and really show why he is one of the best.
So at Darlington, having won a race there, so you know what it takes, you know what it's like. In your mind, besides, of course, being there at the end, what are some of the keys to safely get around that track for, 367 laps?
I mean, certainly have to be there at the end. And it's easy to not do that at Darlington. There's just so much that can obviously happen out of your control, but even in your control, it's so easy. You get invited into running closer and closer to the fence. The closer you run to the fence, the faster you're going to go. And 367 laps around there, there's a lot of time to make a mistake and get into the wall, and it just is an extremely challenging racetrack. But, yeah, I think you just have to be right on that limit. And for me at Darlington, it's one of those things I try to just run 90, 95%, and save that 100% for the very end when you're probably going to get to the wall a couple times. And, just try to run as hard as you can, but under control, and, try to just make it to the end. You don't have to be at the end of these races, but you also have, you have to go hard. You have to put yourself in position. And, for me, I found that kind of sweet spot of running that 90, 95%. Normally it's hard enough to kind of stay in the mix, but it's also, one of those things where you can kind of save yourself a little bit of a buffer to the wall.
Has NASCAR given you guys the information for this weekend as far as the tire compound and what the tires will feel like for you guys going into Darlington this weekend?
Yeah, as far as I know, it's the same as what we've raced there in the spring, so it should be relatively similar to that. The temperature will obviously change some things, and then just the Southern 500 with it ending kind of at nighttime changes a lot. the Southern 500, you go through a lot of different transitions of the race, just starting in the day, kind of going through the evening, and then obviously full darkness. And, the track is so sensitive to the temperature, especially at Darlington. So, yeah, it'll change a lot, but, I think the tires, as far as I know, is all the same of what we've had there in the spring. So, I mean, no matter what tire we bring, it's going to be slick. It's going to be, falling off a lot. It's going to be, one of those where you're going to have guys coming and going throughout the course of the run. So, yeah, we'll be begging for tires every chance we can get them, that's for sure.
All right, and this being the first playoff race, I mean, everybody wants to get that win who are in the playoffs to be locked into the next round. So is it a little crazier, this first playoff race, because of that? Or how do you approach, now that you're in the playoffs, I mean, how do you approach the way to handle this particular race?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, the anxiety is a little bit higher. This is the first playoff race. And this first round especially, you just don't want to eliminate yourself. You just cannot have these big mistakes or crashes that put you in a big hole points deficit wise. So yeah, we want to definitely win the race. That's what we're going to go there and try to do. But at the end of the day, your main goal and objective is trying to win the championship, and you can't do that unless you move on from this first round. So trying to get stage points, just having a good, solid, clean day is going to be huge. You're always going to have a couple guys that kind of eliminate themselves from this first round. So for us, the whole goal is obviously not to do that in any of the rounds, but especially the first one. So hopefully we can go down there. Hopefully we win the race, right? That moves you automatically to the next round. But if not, we just need to be conscious of kind of the point situation, trying to make sure that we, just have a solid night. If you have a car that's not capable of winning, say it's a 8th or 9th place race car, well, just try to run, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th with it. Don't try to go win with it, because normally when you do that, that's when you make a mistake and, you end up wrecking.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
All right, looking forward to being at Darlington tomorrow. Looking forward to the daily luncheon buffet at Seawell's tomorrow and Friday, 11 to 2. Make sure you get over there for that. And when you need the best in the catering business, give Seawell's a call, 803-771-7385, online at SeawellsCateringSC.com, as we bring you tonight's recruiting report. In South Carolina, offered 2027 athlete James Bethay, 6'1", Ocala, Florida. Washington, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Oregon State, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Rutgers, Houston, Duke, Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, Vandy, Miami, Georgia, and Florida. Some other offers. Players announcing plans to visit Clemson Saturday. 27 class, cornerback Joshua Dobson, Catawba Ridge. Safety Marquise Bryant, Roseville, North Carolina. Linebacker Trip Keller from Tampa. Irmo, offensive tackle Nate Carson. Tight end Grant Haviland, Alpharetta, Georgia. Defensive back Robert Gathers III of Charlotte, 28 class. Defensive end Asher Giotto, Jacksonville. Quarterback Grayson Clary, Rabun Gap, Georgia, formerly of Daniel. And 6'4", this is basketball, Harris Reynolds, just reminding, of Atlanta, will be in at Clemson for an official visit this weekend. That'll do it for recruiting, brought to you by Seawells. Quick thoughts, Bergie.
I got a quick stat for you. The Nationals today in there beat down by the Yankees through 77 pitches in the bottom of the third inning. Woo! The most pitches by any team in any inning of any game since the pitch track era began in 2008.
Woo!
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall.